You guys seem in a good mood. Let me know when you're ready to go. The press conference starts in a couple hours, but we need to be there early.
Hearing the Archon talk, it seems like this is a pretty important press conference, right?
Correct. This is the most important discovery to date of the whole Listener project. Dr. Clive sent me a message this morning, saying he was so excited he couldn't even sleep last night. I can't help but worry if he'll mess up in the press conference.
Such an esteemed doctor is that nervous?
In the 2 years since Dr. Clive took over the Listener project, he hasn't been able to produce anything of value. I guess this is also a chance to validate himself to everyone, as well as the project. I can certainly sympathize. The whole Listener research team has been waiting for this day for a very long time.
Lynn, I've just received word that the conference venue was attacked, for no apparent reason.
What? The venue for the press conference?
Yes. Details are still hazy at present, so I cannot definitively say what happened. I'm on my way there now to find out more. According to security logs, the Crystamax samples for the press conference had already been sent there. I worry that maybe...
Cordon off the whole area. We're on our way. So what's going on in there, Saki?
I only just got here myself. We still don't know what exactly is happening inside, but according to those who have escaped, there were gray space entities in there.
Gray space entities? How did those things get into Mirroria?
I sent someone to check Mirroria's external defenses, and there's no sign of a breach. Nor is there any sign of a gray space entity's invasion. It's like they just materialized out of thin air. There are currently some issues with the building's internal power supply. Some floors have lost all their powers, while the security and monitoring systems are malfunctioning. I'm arranging a floor-by-floor inspection.
There's no time for that. Our priority is to secure those samples.
You know I have limited manpower. I need to maintain order, get the crowd out of here, and lessen any negative impacts of the attack.
I'll think of something. Has Dr. Clive been informed of what's going on?
He's on his way. He'd been resting at the research center, and was thankfully not caught up in any of this.
Okay, good. Saki, you take your team and look for survivors on each floor. We'll take over the investigation.
Understood. However, you should note that the lift to the conference venue is also currently malfunctioning. You can find and restart the power supply on the ground floor, which should fix the problem.
Careful!
What? What do you want?
Careful, it's too dangerous.
The scene is secure and most of the injured are receiving treatment. Unfortunately, the cause of the incident is not yet known, so the press conference will have to be postponed.
How's Dr. Clive? I reckon that this could be connected to that artificial Crystamax he extracted.
He's got a few scratches, nothing serious. He's been taken to headquarters to be patched up. Larson wants us to go there and ascertain the cause of all this.
Let's go then.
Dr. Clive, I need a straight answer. Can you guarantee that the artificial Crystamax is safe now?
Archon, during the incident, the Crystamax displayed a field ability hitherto unseen in all of our experiments. We need to conduct more comprehensive tests on the sample, and until we do, I am unable to guarantee that it's safe.
Dr. Clive, do you have any idea about what could have caused this?
That creature in the hall was actually an artificial Crystamax parasite in a Singer-type droid. It even displayed sentience, which is something a normal Crystamax from a gray space entity could never have. What's more, after successfully taking control of its host, that Crystamax displayed a field ability we had not seen before. It was totally beyond anything we could have imagined. We incorporated tissue samples from 3 known abyssins in cultivating this Crystamax, but none of them had this ability to pass through solid walls, so this Crystamax seems to have evolved new field abilities during its development. This trait is something we've never seen or even considered before, I admit. Perhaps I was too optimistic and let myself get a little careless. I will take full responsibility for this incident.
Moreover, reports from the scene indicate that the out-of-control abyssant displayed some abnormal behavior before it was defeated. Our information suggests that it seems to possess human-like intelligence, acts with purpose, and even makes human-sounding noises. Lynn, you were the closest to that thing. Do you think it possessed a level of intelligence similar to our own?
I'm sorry, Archon. Nothing really jumped out at me. While its behavior was certainly out of the ordinary, I don't think it really has the ability to communicate with us. After all, it's not a real gray space entity, just an artificial Crystamax, a parasite on a mechanical host. Perhaps it was unconsciously imitating our behavior and merely mimicking human noises.
Gray space entities are communicating with humans. In all of my research, I've never even heard of such a thing.
I think I have a good grasp of what transpired now. Our forensics team is analyzing the scene as we speak, and might be able to find something of value. Dr. Clive, I've ordered the artificial Crystamax to be transferred to the secure lab at headquarters. You may conduct subsequent safety tests there. I shall be keenly awaiting the results. I believe that covers everything for today. Dismissed.
Was there anything else?
Actually, Lynn, that abyssant. At the time, I felt like it was trying to communicate with us too. It also wasn't displaying a clear intention to attack. Before Dr. Clive fired the first shot, at least.
Huh. So you also think it was trying to talk to us?
Miss Lin, it might be a good idea to suggest Archon Larson and Dr. Clive pay more attention to this idea.
I'll certainly bear your suggestions in mind. Thank you.
Captain Saki Fua? Executor? Shirley? I have something important to discuss with you. Do you have time?
We're on standby.
Then, I'll be waiting for you at the Security Special Forces rooftop. Please come see me as soon as you can.
It sounds serious from Saki's tone. Could it have something to do with the last gray space entity assault?
We better go see her then. I'm sorry to call you all here on such short notice. I feel there's something you need to know about Lin.
Miss Lin, did something happen to her?
Do you remember the sound that the Christomax parasitized puppet singer made when it attacked? Our technicians have analyzed and processed the sound. We've translated what we've got into human speech.
She's calling for Ruby?
If it really came for Ruby, then Lin must have hidden something from us, both about the monster and Ruby.
But why would Ruby have anything to do with it?
Ruby's identity has always been mysterious. She suddenly appeared beside Lin about 2 years ago. Lin only said Ruby was entrusted to her by a friend, but she has never said anything about who that friend was. What's more, we couldn't find anything on Ruby. It seems like Lin is intentionally trying to keep Ruby's identity a secret. After the attack, the reason that she denies that she conversed with the monster is she doesn't want us to know about Ruby's involvement in all this.
Why did Miss Lin do that?
As per regulation, I've submitted everything I've found to Larson. He will soon be holding an inquisition at Cloudtop regarding Lin. But before that, I want to see if you two have anything to say. You were there. Did I miss anything that went down between Lin and the monster?
Before Dr. Clive suddenly came in and opened fire, the enemy wasn't hostile. It was trying to communicate with Lin. But if Miss Lin wanted to hide this from us, she could have sent Shirley and me away and taken care of it herself.
I believe in Miss Lin. She has always acted in the best interest of the people here. There must be something more to this than we know.
I also trust that Lin would never betray Mirroria, but her actions are, indeed, suspicious. We have to tread carefully for the safety of the city. Archon Larson wants both of you to be there at Lin's Inquisition. We can only hope Lin can explain all this, but I wonder how deep this rabbit hole goes. Miss Lin, let's go in.
Don't forget what I told you before you slept.
I remember.
Then wait here for me. I'll be right out.
Uh-huh.
Let's go then.
Let's go. Ruby?
Huh? Oh, looks like we have 2 new faces in our midst.
Oh, let me introduce you. These two are Executor and Shirley from District 9. This is...
Hello, I'm Tianlong. Hey, Lyra, why don't you come and say hi?
Greetings, I'm Lyra.
Tianlong is District 7's High Executor and is dispatched on a mission. Ms. Lyra is the current president of the Magdalene Foundation, as well as Archon Larson's special consultant.
I'm sorry that my work required me elsewhere.
No, everything happened because of me. Sorry for taking up all your time.
Now that we're all here, let's get started.
Archon Larson.
I believe everyone here already knows about what happened a few days ago at the Listener Conference. Despite how the puppet singer was destroyed, and the artificial Christomax was relocated, it has a significant effect on things. Many have started questioning whether or not Mirroria's defense systems are able to withstand gray space entity attacks. These concerns are understandable since gray space entity attacks have never happened inside Mirroria. If we cannot guarantee our denizens' safety, it stands to reason that we will lose their trust. Captain Saki Fuwa has doubled the patrols in Mirroria, and Lyra will be assisting in upgrading the city's current surveillance systems. However, these are but contingencies and responses to an emergency incident. We need to prevent similar situations from taking place in the future. Lin, Captain Saki Fuwa should have already relayed the results of the investigation to you. Would you please explain why you concealed the fact that the puppet singer could communicate with you? And what exactly did it say to you?
Now that the Security Special Forces reports are out, there's nothing more I could say other than, I'm sorry, Archon Larson. I concealed it not because I have an agenda or harbor ill will. There are just some things that I feel are not ready for the public eye.
Forgive me for being frank, Miss Lin. This thing has profound influences. If we can't work together and solve this crisis together, I'm afraid...
Archon Larson, please let me handle the follow-up to this incident. I promise I'll present a satisfactory answer to everyone. I'll just need some extra time.
Lin, I've trusted you, and I'm willing to believe that there is a reason for your actions. However, I cannot allow you to put the whole city in danger.
Archon Larson is responsible for the safety of the entire city. Please understand that, Lin.
It spoke Ruby's name. That's the kid who hangs around you. The Security Special Forces have completed their investigation into Ruby's identity and past, and found no activities beyond the last 2 years. Lin, who is this kid?
Archon Larson, I vouch for Ruby that she's always been a good kid. I'll educate her well and be held responsible for all her actions.
I don't need you to take responsibility. I only want to know what the relationship between that kid and the artificial Christomax parasitized monster is.
Security alert. All non-combatants, please proceed to the nearest safe zone.
Ruby. Archon Larson, please give the order to lock down all exits immediately.
You have your orders, Captain Sakifua. Don't worry about me.
Captain, that artificial Christomax suddenly went out of control. We're sending machine guards to suppress it.
That artificial Christomax again. What's going on with it? Look, the storage vessel for the artificial Christomax. It's completely shattered.
What happened here?
The machine guards couldn't stop it. We have to find Ruby.
The wreckage went through the room ahead.
Captain Sakifua,
Archon Larson.
take Ruby to the infirmary and keep her safe.
Yes, sir!
Lynn, I need an explanation from you. The artificial Christomax has caused many security incidents. I hope now you can see how this thing doesn't just affect you and Ruby, but all of us.
Archon Larson, I will give you all the information I have, but I have a request.
You can give me your demands, but I can't promise anything.
I need you to give me your word that you'll assure Ruby's safety after hearing what I have to say. Ruby is not really a human. She's the result of an experiment trying to fuse humans and gray space entities.
What? Ruby? She's...
An artificial gray space entity. Just like what Dr. Clive did.
To a certain extent, yes. Ruby and the artificial gray space entity in the listener testing ground are the same. That artificial Christomax may be attracted to Ruby. Do you remember who Rubilia is, Archon Larson?
Dr. Rubilia, the first supervisor of Project Listener. That kid is a true genius. If it weren't for the accident, she could have achieved much and given much to Mirroria.
An accident?
2 years ago, in a routine collection mission on the surface, Rubilia went missing in a gray space entity attack. Her project was then handed off to Dr. Clive, who used to be her assistant.
Wait, what happened to Dr. Rubilia took place 2 years ago. And that's also when Ruby appeared in Mirroria. Ruby? Rubilia?
Rubilia used her own genetic code to fuse with the gray space entity in the experiment. That's how Ruby was born.
Fusing human DNA with that of the gray space entity is directly forbidden by Archon Harunobu. What Dr. Rubilia did was madness.
Since her father died, Rubilia's been running those forbidden experiments in her secret lab. I only learned of it when I found her journal by accident. I put a stop to her experiments and sealed off the lab. Out of many concerns, I didn't make it public. Instead, I exiled Rubilia out of Mirroria.
You mean she didn't go missing because of the gray space entity attack, but it was by your orders?
Yes, I only wanted this thing to go away at the time. Rubilia's experiments were too extreme. I didn't know what would happen if they went public, so I leveraged my position to conceal it all.
If Rubilia really did create a superior abyssant with human intelligence and in human form, but outside of human control, it would be a great disaster for all mankind. Lynn, how many like Ruby are out there? Are there any in this city that remain undiscovered?
Archon Larson, Ruby is the only test subject left alive. She possesses a human mind. I can assure you that she'll not lose control and become a monster and threaten the safety of everyone.
Even if you can prove that Ruby doesn't pose a threat, there's been no change in her situation after she absorbed that artificial Crystamax. We cannot be certain if she'll be affected or controlled by the Crystamax. Lynn, Executor, and Shirley, please stay here. I'll decide the next course of action after they run a full checkup on Ruby.
Larson, I only wish for Ruby to be treated as a human, not a monster locked up in a cage and studied in a lab.
I have my own thoughts on this, but I can assure you that Ruby will be safe. Captain Sakifua, with me.
Yes.
Ruby is still in a coma. We did a full examination on her, but due to her unique physical conditions, we cannot assess her status using normal human standards. Dr. Clive is assessing Ruby's situation, but he informed us that it might be difficult to do so with our current technology, since she's the first human hybrid. Lynn, there must be some research data left behind in Rubilia's lab, right?
Yes. Even though I sealed off the lab, I did not destroy the research data. I planned on revealing the whole thing once Project Listener made some progress.
We're facing a problem, and the redacted data may hold the key to solving it. We cannot wait any longer. Only you know the location of the lab, Lynn. I will need you to take a team and retrieve the research data.
Yes, sir.
I'll send someone to go with you. The safety of Mirroria hangs in the balance, and we cannot afford another accident.
Archon Larson has told me all about it. Ms. Lin, it seems like you've kept quite a number of things from us.
Tianlong, Miss Lyra.
Lin, long time no see.
Miss Lyra will remain in Mirroria to assist us with this investigation. Tianlong will go with you to the restricted experiment zone. Lin, do not disappoint us again.
Oh, you got Archon Larson so mad?
If you have time to chit-chat, why don't you contribute to planning our next move?
Huh. Looks like we're the ones tasked with the special op. Captain Lin, what dangerous mission will we be going on this time?
Why so serious? We're just investigating an abandoned lab, aren't we?
Huh? Archon Larson recalled me for an emergency situation, and it turned out to be such a simple mission?
Your mission is not just to assist with the investigation, but to keep an eye on me. I am now in your charge.
Miss Lin, that's not a nice thing to say. I'm only here to help you complete the mission, and that's all.
Miss Lin, what do we have to know about that lab?
There are no security systems installed in the lab, but it holds a great number of gray space entity samples. The samples should either be in stasis or deceased, but we really don't have enough information. Stay vigilant. I have relayed the lab coordinates to you. Make sure you've received them. If there are no further questions, let's head out.